Welcome to Combos from the Couch by LifeStance Health, where leading mental health professionals help guide you on your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Combos from the Couch. I'm Nicolette Lianza, and joining me today is psychiatrist Dr. Lynn Liu. And she'll be sharing the unique way she builds connections with her patients. Dr. Liu has earned herself an endearing nickname, the Shrinkable Doctor, and we're going to explore what that means, hear some remarkable stories from her work, and discover her philosophy on creating meaningful therapeutic relationships. So great to have you on, Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity here.
Great, thank you. So let's dive in. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to become a psychiatrist.
Okay, so I think that story would trace back to when I was in China. Okay, so it's a little bit long story. I grew up in China and I think I grew up, I always wanted to be a teacher. Now, my mom, she was a teacher. Somehow, through her experience, she does not want her daughter to follow her footsteps. She doesn't want me to be a teacher. So in a way that that kind of in a way opened the door of medicine for me because to be a doctor is a I want to say that it's a quite a honorable career in China. Probably the same thing in United States, as I realized. And that can lead me to study medicine in Shanghai Medical University. And when I was there, I was really fascinated by immunology because I thought that at that time nothing would be cooler than immune system because it prevents disease from happening. Is that what could be cooler than that, right? So I'm really interested in it. And then when I finished my med school training. I went ahead for grad school, and then that led me to the United States. And then like the real original interest of coming to the United States was because I want to know more about the system. Okay, know more about how these microorganisms interact with the immune system and how immune system defend ourselves. So that led me to Wayne State University, and when I was studying there, and that's how my path come across with the brain because my mentor, Dr. Hudson, and he's interested in neuroscience, and that really opened the door for me to start to realize maybe there is something even cooler, what more fascinating than immune system, that is our brain, so powerful. And he was also doing that my study, PhD study. I kind of come to realize it, and I really miss that talking with the people, that connection with the people. I was doing very basic bench research at the time on a study these transcriptional factor that was encoded by chromosome, but event expressed and get into the mitochondria, how they're going to modulate, what the expression of the mitochondrial gene. And then, when would these ever, help people, right? It was also doing that, my study and my desire of coming back for clinical practice kind of restart. And then with my interest in brain, then I faced two choices, right? Do I want to do neurology or do I want to do psychiatry? I kind of have an idea what it means to be a neurologist. Okay. But I do not know much about psychiatry. I do know how it is viewed in China, though. People suffer mental health condition are traditionally not viewed, viewed differently, may I say that. If people had, let's say, have a hip fracture, or in your neighborhood, none of these will come to you and comfort you, bring you food, okay? But you don't go ahead and tell people you suffer depression, you have schizophrenia. That is
Right.
something like almost like something shameful. It's almost like a secret. You don't want to let it out of the closet, right? So that, in a way, almost like for the doctor who provide care for people suffer mental health condition, also to a certain degree, not view as my quote unquote real doctor almost like. That was the impression I get, through my experience in China, but I don't know what it's like in United States. So I was kind of debating, and then at that time, my husband finished his study, and our family really moving from Michigan now to Illinois. And I stopped searching, and because I want to know. That's not a small decision when you say, Nikki, it's choosing a
Right.
career. So at that time, I wanted to know more. So I come across Chicago Medical School. Their residency program offer these Thursday full didactic. So kind of teaching. So I think, you know what, maybe I can apply for observership. So get some exposure and help me make right decision. So I applied for it. And there was cold time. It was in February in Illinois and Canada. We looked for housing, and then I actually had the opportunity to be interviewed. And then a few months later, I received an email from a program director and telling me that one of the residents matched with the program had a visa issue and could not start the program on time. And because they interview me and they know all my material, I'm ready to start. So they offered that position to me. I said, what? Okay. So, I mean, the decision was quick because I feel I'm too old to wait. Okay. Let me just jump into it. and that it become the second best decision I've ever made in my career. And then that I'm pointing to my right ring here. And this is my best decision. And be a psychiatrist is my second best decision I've ever made. And then from there, become very clear. And then I want to be a pediatric psychiatrist because that my always that desire to work with kids as a teacher. I want to be a teacher. And it's interesting in a career. And then I went to the Northwestern for my fellowship. And then I came back to Chicago Med School teaching and then practice there. And I still teaching there. And I also now teaching for a fellowship at the UC Irvine program, and now a full-time practice at Lifestands Health. So that's kind of my journey, how I become a psychiatrist and begin with the dream of be a teacher. But I think that I believe all dots connect, Nikki.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It all comes together for you. And Lynn, I love your enthusiasm. It's really infectious. You have a great way about you, which leads me to your next question, which because I can understand how you build these connections, but can you share with us a little bit more of how you understand and build your connections with your patients?
Okay, now I noticed that you will say that your patients, and now in my clinic, I actually refer all my patients. I really view them as my friends, if not family, if I may say that. And these are tied in many areas. I come from a family and I have close family member suffer severe mental health conditions. So I know what it is like to, as a family member, from that perspective. But I also really see his close family member, how she suffers. So I know, I want to say that I see from both ends. I do see from both ends. That's also one thing I feel like I feel like I'm part of them. I cannot separate say they are patient and doctor. Yes, they are a part of me. I know that I have this special training and the position there, but on the other side, they fundamentally our relationship really start from a friendship. And that's I tell everyone who come to my office, and I know they're coming and want me to be a helpful doctor for you. But in order for my experience to be helpful for you, we need to have a good relationship. I need to know you. And that's the kind of beginning of it. And then as I want to say that as years go by, and more I realize, Nikki, which is that how should I put it? I often ask myself, I find myself ask my, this question, if I were hand the same deck of card, just like this person, this friend, sitting across my table, can I do a better job than him or than her?
Okay.
Oftentimes, I find myself saying, I'm not so sure. I There are
Mhm.
situations I say, maybe I cannot even do as good. So I found myself not in any position looking down. I really, and now I looking
Mhm.
at level eyes,
Yeah.
eye to eye with them, and in many situations, I learn from them.
Yeah.
I come across so many of my friends, you name them. I mean, I have people who lost their children to suicide. And I have two kids. I just cannot imagine
I
how
know.
my heart survived it.
I'm
And I
right.
have these mothers sitting across the table and see how she goes through tough time. And I say, you know what? I'm in no position at all
Right.
to almost like to in any way kind of thinking I can let me teach you something you can do better.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, all I can do is encourage and support.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
Yeah.
at the fundamental of the connection from my friends, I want to say that I realize I see them as my dear, dear friend. And I also view them in many ways, their experience and their suffering. And I want to say that I'm here to support them and I'm here to learn from them.
Yeah. I
So
like
maybe
that you
from a
say that,
listening
Lynn.
heart.
I
May
like
I say
that.
that?
I too come from a similar ideology of like there's an old quote when one teachers both learn. And I take that to my therapy sessions as well. It's just as I'm listening, I can learn from my friends, my clients, right? And
Yes.
as they hopefully sometimes learn from me. So I like that connection, the duality of both, that reciprocality. I love that you come from that point of view. It's really important for sure. So, and I know it's not typical in our field that we'll call patients or clients friends, family, but I think it shows the endearing and special connection we have with our people we're working with. And I think that's important that you're emphasizing that for sure.
Yes.
So,
And I also make it clear with my friends who I met through the clinic. We not only friends, we also neighbors. What I mean by that is really when I go to the community, do my grocery shopping, I bump into them. Okay, so I
mhm.
make it clear with them, okay, there's a good chance, okay? I've bumped into my friends in to shopping at Costco, movie theater,
Yeah, yeah.
library, restaurant.
Hmm.
Okay. So I tell
Hmm.
them, I want to prepare, make sure we have a good, successful relationship. I do tell them, when we bump into each other, if you happen to be on a day, do not want to chat, don't worry about it. You're not hurting my feeling at all.
Right,
I
right,
do make
right.
it clear with them when I go outside. I'm always on a chatting mode. Okay, that is just me. So if you want to chat, we go to chat whatever things what you like to chat. But of course, everything you discuss with me, that is safe. I will keep that
Keeping
confidential.
that
But
confidentiality.
but I
Mhm.
will share with you because we are literally neighbors. You see, I mean,
Yes, I
um,
see how you're saying
we
that.
living in the same community, and that's also another thing I need to come across as a psychiatrist is that how to handle the relationship. Become I want to say that once I take these view of we are friends, we are neighbors, we are family. Of course, I'm also your doctor, okay? But that it is all these relationship built, and
Mhm.
then I truly, hopefully, I want it to be a helpful doctor. That fundamentally,
Yeah.
that is my responsibility and role. I should not kind of confuse myself. I'm more than just there, just like a elevator chatting friend, right? That's not. I don't want to waste their time and money. But
Of course.
in order for me to truly be helpful for them, I have to start from building that relationship. And then what I found is that when there is that relationship, that trust, I think that saying is very true. Unless that our patient know how much we care, they don't know how much we know, right? They must know we care, and that careness is through that relationship we build. So I want to say that the
Yep.
relationship I have with all my friends in the clinic.
Great. Well, so then tell me about that meeting behind your nickname Shrinkable Doctor. You said I think you
Okay.
had mentioned before some friends, previous to when we were recording, you mentioned some friends named you that. Tell me more about that.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that some of you do really this English background, right? I don't even know what a shrink means. I know the word shrink.
Right.
Okay.
But the
But I do
concept
not
in
know.
American
Right.
vernacular about a psychiatrist,
About
right?
I do not
Right.
know that until one day that at that time I read the psychiatrist, and went to one of my friends' house for a party, and then one of the friends, again a new friend I met in that party, asked me what do I do for a living. So I said I'm a pediatric psychiatrist, and they immediately, oh, you're a shrink. Okay, now I do not know. I mean, until that point, I do not know
Right.
what the string means.
Right.
But oftentimes when it is not the first language, there's some kind of a loose touch with some kind of what is the nuance of the language, just lose that connection. But
Yeah.
somehow, okay, even though I don't really know what it truly means, but I can tell from the tone, from the body language, it's not like saying, wow, you are a doctor. It's not. It means it carries some meaning there.
Right.
You know that it wasn't and you know what I mean? It bring me back that I spoke with we just talked about a few minutes ago, right? The mental health people, right? The people said mental health
Mhm.
condition in China, and that the stigma carry on for
Mhm.
all the professionals that help them, and that's the impression I get when the oh you're a student. That's
Yeah.
me made that connection to
Yep.
me. And interestingly, people's view about us have impact on us. I don't know whether you agree with it
I
or not.
do. I
Okay,
do.
for a while, I don't like to tell people no, I'm a psychiatrist. I almost like carry some of that shrinking, what feeling about myself until I truly overcome it. And it's what really helped me overcome it. I want to say that are my friends in the clinic. They are wonderful. They truly wonderful. I learn so much from them, and through my respect to them, and I find my own dignity. I want to say, I'm proud to be a shrink. And
Nice.
that not only that, and the reason I call myself shrinkable is that I see that so many of my friends during that part of their life journey, they at their weak moment, and I had the honor come to help them and support them. And I found many of them actually graduate from my service. Okay. So I tell them, you know what? I invite them to fire me, graduate from my service, we work as a team. I tell them I'm shrinkable. Okay. I'm really shrinkable, and when my friend graduate, we celebrate. Really, I think that's from time to time. After I establish the relationship with my friends, they get to know that I'm a shrinkable doctor.
Love that. Love that. Love that. What other insights would you like to share with us?
I think that I want to say that I want to go back to one thing that in my heart for a
Okay.
long time that sit heavy in my heart is people that suffer mental health conditions were viewed as kind of characteristically weak. Was
Mm.
just something almost like shame or guilt. Either they themselves feel that way, or the society also casts that kind of view upon them. But through my experience working with my friends, Nikki, I want to say that I see so many strengths, and I really a lot of stories and strength I see in them, and I admire. And if I can share a few, let's see whether you would
Yes.
agree with me. I want to say that Like for example, social anxiety is one of the most common anxiety disorder people suffer.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, social anxiety is, fear of a human being. And a human being is the most scary creature, if
Yes.
I may say that. Okay. But that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make here is that people who have social anxiety naturally not attention seeking. They
Right.
naturally humble. Okay, that is absolutely their strength. What a great strength they have, isn't it true? Now, if I may point out, people have bipolar disorder. Okay, which is not as common as social anxiety disorder, but I do want to say that the people that suffer the bipolar conditions, when their emotion goes on a high end, they have so much passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're so
Mm-hmm.
passionate. And then when their mood drop to the other side, when they start with a low, that's the time I want to say that they are also potentially very compassionate because they know
Mm.
human suffering. They experience firsthand that pain. Okay.
Yeah.
So naturally, I encourage my friends who suffer bipolar conditions, one of their strengths that they have both. They have
Mm-hmm.
passion and compassion. Okay. That's another bipolar they have,
Wow.
which is their
Yeah.
strength. And the things they need to harness it. And that's the part we work on a mood regulation, help them to harness that strength,
Ah.
natural strength, even though the condition make it like, when they lose control, that was really suffering. But if we learn to harness that passion and compassion,
Yeah.
they will be really shine at their work. Yes.
I love that you were framing that the strength of it, the passion and compassion. I love that. What a
Yes.
great way to navigate your clients your friends who might be navigating bipolar disorder, help them understand to harness that power, those strengths for sure.
And I want to say that's pretty much what I see that a lot of the mental health condition on one side as the weakness, but if you just look underneath it, the strength
Mm-hmm.
really inside it, underneath it, or somewhere hidden on the surface. We oftentimes see the surface. Like I want to, I have the opportunity. I want to say for my friends, they have autism. Okay, one thing is that they're utterly authentic. Okay.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
they
Yep.
say things, when
Yep.
it comes to their social, they what what they're thinking. They
Yes.
just say it. So
Right.
I tell them, what? That is the foundation. You get a foundation of relationship. People want a real relationship. Okay.
Right.
But sometimes we get a little bit deviate from the core. We kind of more emphasize on the skill. So I really ask my, people having me, friends having me in autism, what do you want a sincere friend or skillful friend, right? Between
Mhm.
two, if you have to choose one, if that sincere friend not very skillful, but that skillful friend is not sincere, which one would you choose? Oh, we all choose sincere friends. So that's why I'm saying, what,
Right.
I would rather have you as my friend
Right.
because
Right.
you real friend. That's your strength. Don't lose it. Of course, we want to build on top of it with the skill. That would be you're walking with the two legs, that's better, but you already have that foundation for human
Mhm.
relationship. That's
Yes.
sincerity, right?
Great way to
Rather
look
than
at that. Yeah.
the skill, right? So you have it. So I want to encourage you. And ADHD, I mean, just there's so many strengths in my
Mhm.
friends that having these conditions. One thing really stands out, their creativity.
Yep.
They're so creative. I think that one of the friends I have that and I mean come in, I still remember it's been a while, but I still remember he come to my office and then, in Chicago, I have this big window office. So it's winter time, it's real cold and my heater on. And when someone who had this ADHD condition, he's wandering in my office. And very soon I hear an ouch. And I turn around and said, what? he said, Dr. Liu, you have a you have a memory here. And I said, what? Oh, I remember because he put his hand on my heater and was burned. Oh, your heater helped me remember it.
Oh.
Don't touch the heater. I said, what a mind, right? Isn't it beautiful? And he's the same one as talking about him still brings so much smile on my on my face because he coming and asking me, you know what, how are you doing? Dr. Lu, I have puberty on my face.
Yeah,
How his mind
yeah.
just creatively put things together and the humor just oozed out. And then it was just like, I have so much fun.
Great stories. Oh my gosh. Lynn, oh my gosh, I really, really enjoyed our conversation today and hearing your stories and your perspective of how you work with your friends. And definitely this, I think you sharing the story about you being a shrinkable doctor, you taking that term, that kind of that negative connotation of shrink and taking it and being empowered by it, and how you just are able to shift the focus with your friends from the weaknesses, the negativity to their strengths and their superpowers, right? So appreciate. So thank you. We're going to definitely be having you back on many times for sure. So thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. I'd also like to thank the team behind the podcast, Jason Caden and Juliana Whitten. Thank you for listening to Convos from the Couch. Take care, everyone.